Welcome back everyone, back here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, doing another Boeing 737 flight from Brisbane to Coffs Harbour today. We'll be flying as Qantas 2108 and our cruising altitude will be 20,000 feet with a cost index of 53, and we'll be departing from Brisbane on runway 19 left and arriving into Coffs Harbour on 03. Without further ado, let's get into the aircraft. Alright, here we are. I've already sorted the sim brief for today. Alright, that's requested. Get a departure from Brisbane. Alright. Let's get some power to the aircraft, shall we? There we are. And flick that on. Ground power to the aircraft. And we'll turn batteries on and emergency lights on. Flick our IRS switches to nav. Now do a couple tests. There's a flaps test. We've got a stall warning number 1 for the captain's side. Stall warning number 2 for the first officer side. SB warning left and right. Come down to the sensor here. That's all good. And we'll check this side. Lights illuminated. That's good. Test this. That's all good. Whoops. And test this. That's also good. Nice. Test that. Yep. All good. We'll put in our score code of 2000. Since we won't be on the FlightSim network. All good. Alright. Alright, let's jump into the FMC here. Nav data is up to date. And we'll set our position. So we are Yankee Bravo November, which is Brisbane Airport. Put that in. And what gate are we? Let's go to our charts. Flights, input flight from SimBrief. Brisbane to Coffs. Alright, Brisbane charts. Taxi. Actually, we can just come down here. Actually, no, we can't. We need the gate, which is right. This one. Gate 29. I'm not sure if that's a number. Oh, yep. Oh, cool. I'll pop that back on here now. Alright. Origin is Brisbane, which is the airport we are departing from. Our destination will be Coffs, which is Yankee Charlie Foxtrot Sierra. And we'll request our flight plan from SimBrief. Set the payload, and we'll set the fuel. Clear our scratch pad and select the route. Wait for that to load. Let's get a little bit of music going, shall we? And we can load the route now. Loading. we'll come up here to plan so we can see the actual route that we'll be taking today. Go to legs page. So we've got Brisbane, VOR, to Saneg, to Hugo, to Idna, and then Coffs VOR, sorry. Alright, departures out of Brisbane today. Well, we've taken 19 left, we know that. What departure do we want? Standing instrument. Let's have a look, shall we? Sid's out of Brisbane. And we were going to Saneg, weren't we? Let's take the Saneg to departure. Transition none. I'll go to our route and we'll activate that. Pop that back to there. Check our routes. It's all good. We'll import Saneg. In there to get rid of discontinuity. That looks pretty good to me. Let's execute that. Alright, go to index, done. Position, let's do performance. Performance init requests. Request all the performance figures that we'll need for this flight. Set that back to map now. Set it to 10 nautical miles. And we'll load the performance stats. Let's check how much fuel we have on board. So I'll be close to 3,000 each, so we should be 6,000. Yep, and 6 tons is what we have. Execute that in one limit. Now this is where we need our performance. So we'll be departing from 19 left. Import from the aircraft, because that's what's actually in the aircraft. Import the weather, QNH is 1003. Let's set that while we remember now. There we are, QNH 1003 in hectopascals. What we want. Okay, selected. Temperature is 43 degrees Celsius. Input that. Alright, then we'll go to takeoff page. What we'll be using flaps 5 today. Pretty standard flaps amount. V1 will be 142. VR 143 and V2 148. CG will be 24.81, which is our center of gravity for those who don't know. And while we're here, we'll set 148 in our MCP speed. So you set your V2 speed in the MCP speed bug. Alright, that looks all good to me. Climb. So we'll be cruising at 20,000 feet today, as I said. So we'll put 200 for flight level 200, which is 20,000 feet. Cruise 200, descent, new legs. Alright, that looks good to me. We'll go to init, ref, and we'll put takeoff on that screen. And we'll go FMC and the legs for this screen. Alright, let's begin our boarding. Press boarding. And we are Qantas today. So we'll be Qantas. Handling by Qantas. It's good. Door management. We'll open the front door. We'll open cargo forward and aft. Have a look outside. Looking good. Alright, while the cabin's boarding, we'll do a pre-flight checklist. So pre-flight oxygen test. Tested 100%. No, we don't want to touch the tug. Both pilots. Alright, navigation transfer and display switches, which is these ones up here. They're all set to normal. That's good. Window heat, we all turn on. 1, 2, 3 and 4. They'll go green. Bing, bing, bing. Good. Then we want pressurization mode selector. So this is our pressurization panel. Set your altitude to your cruising altitude and make sure this is set to auto. Otherwise, you're going to have big problems. We can turn the logo light on for now. It's pretty dark here in Brisbane. Strobes are steady. Anti-collision light, not yet. Oh, what happened there? Flight instruments. Heading. We'll set to our runway track. What's our runway track today? It's taking off 19. So be close to that. It says 196 degrees. 196 degrees. We'll set that in our course as well. $196. Set that both sides. And there's that. Initial climb will be 5,000 via the SID. And then we'll climb unrestricted after that. We can set traffic, so we can see traffic in the area. Set that to above. And we'll find the wireless frequency for Brisbane in case we need to return. So come back to our charts. Approach, it'll be 19 left. Wireless is 110.1. So this is your navigation frequencies, and this is your frequencies to talk to ATC. So we want to put it in this one. So 110.1 ILS, and we'll set that on both sides. Bam. Alright, we'll set that to weather. Alright. Continue the pre-flight. Parking brake is set and engine start levers are cut off. Alright, now we'll wait for the passengers to board and then we'll continue. And if we were on FlightSim, we would tune in to 121.7 for ground frequency for the domestic terminals. So we'll set that. And tower would be on 120.5 for 19 left. So we'll simulate that as well. I'll turn our flight directors on, which will be illuminated here. Flight directors. (160 out of 164 passengers on board, so not much longer now. And we've got the baggage trucks disappearing. Boarding is completed. Sweet. We will now request departure. No, we don't want it to release. So we'll turn fuel switches to on. Hydraulics not yet. We'll start our APU. Seatbelt signs on. Fuel on board. And we'll watch our APU increase. There we go. It should get up to 8 and then drop back, and then we'll be able to turn it on. We have generators here. Yep, there's 8. And then drop back. Once it gets back to about 6, we should have. And there we are, APU on, set the bleed on, packs are off. Alright, and we'll do our before start check this to the line. Okay, fuel pumps are on, passenger signs are on, windows are locked left and right. MCP, we have V2 speed, runway track, and initial climb of 5,000 feet. Takeoff speeds will be 142, VR 143, and V2 148, which is put in the MCP. CDU pre-flight complete. Rudder and aileron trim 0 and 3 free. And takeoff and taxi briefing complete. Now we'll be taxiing to 19 left, so we want to push back to the left. So we'll come in here, close the doors, we will release ground power, and we'll remove the chocks. Parking brakes set, good, and we'll request push back to the left. Release parking brakes. Anti-collision light on. Should have done that earlier. Better late than never. Turn hydraulics on. And we'll start engine number 2. Watching our N2 for 25%, and then we'll inject the fuel. %, injecting the fuel, and N1 shall increase. And that's the sound of the engine start switch going back to auto. Start engine 1, ground. We set our parking brakes here. Waiting for 25% on the N2. And 25%, inject the fuel, and we'll tell GSX that we have a good engine start. And that's gone back to there. Turn our generators on for engines 1 and 2. Engines are stable. Alright, and we'll do our 4 taxi checklist. Generators are on, probe heat. We will turn on 1 and 2. Anti-ice not needed at this point. Isolation valve is set to auto. We'll turn packs on as well to auto for air conditioning. And we can turn our APU off and APU bleed off. And engine start switches to continuous. Recall wheel check. Flight control. We'll do a flight control check. Auto brake will set to RTO. Flaps 5 is required for today. 1, 2, and 5. Engine start levers are in the idle D10. And we'll check flight controls now. And your damper. That's what we're forgetting. Recall checked. Good. Verify takeoff speeds 142, 143, and 148. It's all good. And we'll do a flight control check. So full up, full down, full left, full right, rudder to the left, and rudder to the right, and neutral. And we'll arm the doors. Doors are armed. And we are ready for taxi. Taxi light can come on. One last check. And we are good to go. Parking brake released. And we'll come over to our charts. We'll taxi along Charlie 3, Bravo to Bravo 1 and Alpha 1 to runway 19 left. Alright, back here. And we'll do taxi config check. Throttles full forward and back. All good. VNAV and LNAV. It's a bit of an interesting pushback this guy's given us. Follows taxi lines. Not above 40% on the engines while on the ground during taxi, unless on a runway. Alright, take Charlie 3, clear left, clear right. Give it a bit more power. Clear on the left, clear on the right. Alright, before takeoff flaps, green light checked, and stabilizer trim wheel set now. 4.81 on the trim. About there. QNH is 1002 according to this. No, 1003, it's updated. So we got wind at 180 degrees, 9 knots. Clouds broken at 1000, broken at 2200, and broken at 3200. So there's a bit of cloud level on this departure. We'll go ahead and turn runway turn off lights on now as well. Should be set to TA only. And we'll go ahead and turn weather radar on now. Get a glimpse of what's ahead. A little bit of weather, not too bad. Shouldn't be an issue. Music for departure. Got Bravo 2 there. And then we're turning onto Bravo 1 here. Slow down for the corner. Usually want around 10 knots of ground speed for corners. Corners of about 90 degrees. Knots ground speed. We'll look around here, follow that center line. You want to oversteer so the nose wheel stays on the line. Alright, clear left, clear right. We'll turn landing lights on, taxi lights off, strobe lights on. Cabin crew seats for takeoff. Arm the auto throttle. Set TARA. Entering 19 left. Check again, it's clear. And we'll start the chrono. Do a rolling start. Alright, 40% power. Stabilize. Toga. Forward pressure.
Airspeed's alive. Knots.
Checked.
V1. Rotate. Positive recline.
Gear up. Pitch up to 20 degrees. Follow our flight directors. And we'll continue hand flying for a bit. Off a bit. Left hand turn. Flaps 5 up. Flaps 2. Flaps 1 as well. Flip the autopilot on. Autopilot's armed. Leveling off at 5,000 feet. And we'll continue climbing unrestricted to 20,000 feet. feet set in the box. after takeoff. Engine bleeds are on, packs are auto, landing gear up and off, and flaps are up and no lights. We set RTOs off, and we turn the flights off as well. Keep the seatbelt signs on for now. Check our charts again. Flying over Dennis. Maintaining below 250 knots, below 10,000 feet. All good in the hood. Flick over to flight. Get some music going again. Past 10,000 feet, we'll set standard pressure and landing lights can come off. Set our range a bit further. And we set heading to our track. Flight overlay now. Set anti-ice to on as we go through these clouds. is our stunning departure out of Brisbane International Airport on runway 19 left. We're now leveled off at our cruising altitude of 20,000 feet or flight level 200, and shouldn't be too long of a flight down to Coffs today. Yep, top of the descent is in about 45 nautical miles. Yep, 45, 46 nautical miles. Close enough. Alright, let's plan for our approach into Coffs Harbour. Approach Coffs Harbour. Today we will be landing on runway 03. So we'll do the INAV for 03. Transition. So Coffs Harbour. Approach runway 0P RNP. So if we transition Alright, so we've got our approach in. Top of descent is in 38 nautical miles. We've got init ref, and we'll do our approach. Do flaps 30 for the landing. Coffs Harbour, runway 03. Aircraft details, import weather. Weather in Coffs Harbour is QNH at 1008, temperature is 23. So that'll be order brakes max. No, order brakes 3, sorry. Yep, should be right. Let's check our. So it'll be 029 degrees for the runway heading. (029), and our intercept height will be 3,970 feet, so we'll go 3,900. Top of descent, not far now. Okay, fix. We'll go runway 03. We'll put a 5 nautical mile radius and a 10 nautical mile radius around Coffs Harbour. Runway 03. Minimums for Coffs Harbour will be 520. Barrow 520. And there's that. Set water brakes 3. And we'll tune the VOR for Coffs Harbour. Is 117.0. Set this to below for traffic. Here comes top of descent. There we go, top of descent. Throttle is retarding. In other words, coming back. Actually, we'll do our descent checklist. Pressurization and landing altitude. Since Coffs is by the water, it won't be too high. Airport elevation, yeah, 18 feet, won't bother. Recall is checked. Water brake we've got set to 3. landing data, VREF and minimums. VREF will be 149 knots and baro of 520 for the minimums. So if we set a VREF 154. So we got RMP minimum is 2.0. As long as we keep this number below 2.0, then we can continue the approach. Same for this is our vertical RMP minimums. So if the magenta diamond exceeds the white box, then we must go around. Approach briefing is complete. Flight level 110, we will transition from standard pressure to QNH 1008. Yep, 1008. And we'll cool the cabin for landing. Still got plenty of fuel. It's a nice short little hop from Brisbane to Coffs. Get a bit of music going. And we're about to pass flight level 110. And we'll go ahead and set QNH of 1008. Landing lights on below 10,000. Cabin crew would prepare the cabin for landing. Below 10,000 needs to be 250 knots, so we'll increase some spoilers. And approach checklist, altimeters are set to QNH 1008. 250 knots. Bring speed brakes back, and we'll bring in flaps 1. Speed check flaps 1. So we'll be making a sharp left-hand turn into Coffs. And we'll bring in another notch of flaps. Bring our speed down. Set our speed. Speed brakes. Another notch of flaps 5. Now we'll bring speed brakes back up. Keep reducing its speed. At 10 nautical miles we'll set flaps 10. Increase our speed a little bit in case of wind. Anti-ice on for the clouds, correct. The field in sight off to our left here in a minute. And 10 nautical miles will do flaps 10. to our deceleration point just here. Lots of cloud. Ooh, there's a cruise ship. Coffs Harbour will be just there. If my geography is correct. Cabin crew seats for landing. Get them in their seats nice and early because we've got this sharp turn here. Still within limits here and here. Okay, we'll go runway turn off lights on, taxi lights on, we'll set these to continuous. Whoops. Alright, landing checklist. Engine start switch is continuous, speed brake, we will arm. Landing gear not down yet. And we will drop gear. Go flaps 15. Making our left hand turn. Continue reducing our speed. Remember, VREF is 154. Set VREF speed. Just continue dropping flaps. Flaps 25. VREF 154. Hand fly it. Runways in sight. Then you get down 3 green. VRF speed 154 set. Go around altitude
Radio
of
altimeter.
2500 is set. Get a bit right here. Flight directors off. Laps 30. Visual approach now. Whoa, some serious lightning out there.
$150. 30, 20. Airspeed low.
Full reverses on the brakes. And reverses idle. Disarm, speed brake, auto brake, sorry, and we'll make our left hand turn here, off the runways, spoilers up, flaps up, weather radar off, end lights off, taxi light on, strobes off. Slow it down. And we're down in coughs. Runway turn-offs off. APU on. We go ahead turn anti-ice off. Window probe heat, sorry, off. And we'll taxi to a gate. Swissport International. Taxi light off. Marshall. Sure where this guy's wanting me to taxi. Definitely just taking out some ground vehicles. We'll stop there. Parking brake on. APU generators are on and engines 1 and 2 cut off. Switch them to auto. And anti-collision light can come off. Come over here. We'll disarm all the doors. Set the chocks. Press ground power. And we can release the parking brake. Turn fuel pumps off, leave one going for the APU, hydraulics off, engine bleeds off, got ground power, switch over to that, APU can come off now. Yaw damper off, window heats off. Turn emergency exit lights off, packs off, isolation valve open, and we can turn that off as well because we got ground power. All looks good. Clear that, and we can open the cockpit door. Look at that. Gorgeous. Stuffed up the parking a bit, but that's alright. And I think we're going to call it there, guys. That's it for today's stream. From Brisbane International to Coffs Harbour Regional Airport. Full flight. Qantas Boeing 737-800. And yeah, finished off with a gorgeous sunset. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.